All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're tackling a super common yet totally frustrating issue, figuring out if your business's day-to-day struggles are actually just spreadsheet growing pains. We're going to unpack some absolutely fantastic insights from Repautomate. They put together this highly detailed article to help us pinpoint the exact moment a perfectly good tool goes rogue and starts holding your company back, and, more importantly, exactly what we can do about it. The core thesis here is honestly a real game changer. Spreadsheets are incredible tools, right? But the trouble really starts when they stop being just a handy tool and morph into the foundational system your entire operation depends on. This shift is incredibly common, especially for growing South African businesses. So many companies still lean heavily on spreadsheets, paper forms, and manual workflows to run vital parts of their day-to-day operations. And when that happens, well, serious visibility and control issues start creeping in, creating massive roadblocks to growth. So here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover 6 key areas: the spreadsheet trap, signs of data chaos, the visibility gap, the bottleneck risk, fixing operational design, and finally, taking the next step.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the spreadsheet trap.
Let's set a baseline here. Spreadsheets are incredibly useful and flexible when a business is just starting out. So seriously, you shouldn't feel bad if this is where your operations currently live. Think of it as the honeymoon phase of your business systems. They're fantastic for quick calculations, early stage tracking, and on-the-fly analysis because, well, they're familiar and low cost. Literally anyone on your team can just open a new workbook and start typing. That makes it the default operating system for startups. The issue isn't that spreadsheets are inherently bad. The real issue is what happens when we try to stretch them over a growing, increasingly complex operation. Moving on to Section 2, signs of data chaos. You know exactly what I'm talking about here. Files named Final, Final V2, or my personal favorite, Use This One. When your team is juggling completely different file versions like these, the spreadsheet is absolutely no longer giving you control. This kind of version control chaos usually means people just don't trust the shared document anymore. So what do? They save local copies or create isolated side files. The real danger isn't just duplicating work. It's that critical decision-making is suddenly based on completely inconsistent information. One department thinks the job is done based on version 2, while another's holding up production based on the first final file. It's a total mess. Another major red flag is delayed visibility. Just imagine it's Friday afternoon. A manager is spending hours frantically phoning site supervisors, digging through endless email chains, copying figures, and cleaning up data by hand just to cobble together a weekly report. By the time that report is actually published, it's already outdated. That manual approach might work for a tiny team sitting in a single room, but the minute you add more sites, more staff, or more clients, the process becomes incredibly fragile. Your business ends up reacting too late simply because reporting shouldn't rely on chasing people down for updates. And then there's duplicate data capture. When data has to be manually typed multiple times across different sheets, normal human errors absolutely skyrocket. A client's name is misspelled, a date format unexpectedly flips around, or a crucial row just gets accidentally deleted. Now, these might seem like small administrative annoyances, but they create a nasty butterfly effect of massive operational risks. Just one typo leading to an incorrect stock figure could totally ruin a supply order, or an outdated job status might lead to missed deadlines and a severely damaged client relationship. Which brings us to Section 3, the visibility gap. This brings up a phenomenon we might call shadow operations. And honestly, it's often the absolute clearest sign you've outgrown your setup. There is a glaring disconnect between your official record, the spreadsheet, and the actual workflow. In reality, a manager sends a voice note, a team member confirms it on WhatsApp, and someone else jots it down on a piece of paper, hoping to capture it later. When the spreadsheet gets too rigid, teams naturally default to the path of least resistance. This creates a really dangerous gap between what is recorded and what is actually happening. In operations-heavy businesses, this corporate blindness leads to missed handovers and poor follow-through. Like, a site inspection might be finished on time, but the required corrective action gets entirely lost in a busy WhatsApp group chat. You have definitely outgrown your system if you cannot instantly answer rapid-fire questions like, what's outstanding today? Which jobs are delayed? Which approvals are waiting, which client update is overdue. Spreadsheets are okay at telling you what happened after someone diligently updates them, but they are incredibly weak when you need live, real-time operational visibility. If your leadership team has to walk around the office asking questions just to figure out what's delayed or waiting for approval, your visibility is entirely dependent on people rather than a reliable process. Let's look at Section 4,
The bottleneck risk.
Okay, we all know this person, the spreadsheet expert. Every growing business has that one single individual who knows how it all works. They built the complex tabs, they fix the broken references, and they painstakingly clean the data before every single meeting. While this might feel super efficient in the short term, it creates an immense business risk. It also places a massive and frankly unfair burden of stress on that one specific employee. If that overloaded person goes on leave, or worse, leaves the business entirely, your entire workflow control simply stalls out. You're relying entirely on individual memory instead of a clear, scalable operating system. The crucial takeaway here is that as your business grows, cramming more complexity into a spreadsheet doesn't give you more control. It just gives you more admin. Tools are supposed to work for the team, not the other way around. But suddenly, you find yourselves adding more tabs, crazy complex color coding, manual checks, and endless workarounds, like writing custom macros just to bypass a formatting issue. The team ends up spending way more time maintaining the beast of a spreadsheet than actually using it to move their work forward. It stops being a helpful tool and becomes a heavy, taxing part of the daily operational load. So, how do we fix it? That's Section 5, Fixing Operational Design. Okay, take a deep breath because here is the really good news from Repautomate. Outgrowing spreadsheets doesn't mean spreadsheets are inherently bad, and it definitely doesn't mean you have a lazy or incompetent team. You just have an operational design problem. A healthy operational design means having a process that is understandable, repeatable, and usable by the entire team that depends on it, not just your spreadsheet expert. It means putting structures in place where the right data is collected at the right time, naturally flowing to the right people without any friction. Let's look at exactly how to build that. The best part, you don't necessarily need a massive, wildly expensive software overhaul. Building a better system around the work you already do just means following a few simple evolutionary steps. First up, replace manual capture with structured forms. Smart forms force correct data types immediately. That means data is captured flawlessly the very first time, eliminating those typo-driven butterfly effects. Second, turn end-of-week updates into live dashboards. Why wait for a Friday panic when a dashboard can give you real-time visibility the precise moment a task is completed? Third, shift from individual memory to tracked workflows. By giving your teams one centralized system to log and track operational info, you drastically boost morale and completely eliminate the need to hunt through isolated chat threads and scattered files. The ultimate goal here? Make the business drastically easier to run. Finally, Section 6, taking the next step. If you're nodding along and recognizing these warning signs in your own business, Repautomate actually specializes in taking this exact problem right off your plate. And they don't just hand you new software and walk away. They offer comprehensive, hands-on training so your staff can adopt and use modern tools effectively and with confidence. They handle custom automated builds, crafting solutions specifically tailored to your needs, like automated onboarding flows or dynamic project dashboards. But most importantly, they provide full implementation coupled with deep change management support. This is huge because it ensures your team actually adopts the new system without overwhelming friction. It allows you to see fast growth while keeping your risk low. It's really all about shifting your team's valuable time from hopelessly chasing information to actually acting on it. I want to leave you with this provocative thought to reflect on today. Take a really close look at your operations. Who is actually in charge? Is your business being actively run by your team, or is it being dictated by the limitations of a spreadsheet? I highly encourage you to dive into the original Repautomate article to learn more about regaining your workflow control. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, happy optimizing.